Are there any questions? Keeping in mind that I already explained about my hair.
If you're a Simpsons fan, you've probably heard of the controversy surrounding Apu, the beloved owner of the Quickie Mart that was written out of the series in 2020. What do you think? Was this the right call? Or was it another case of cancel culture taking things too far? Let us know in the comments.
Number 10, Seth MacFarlane.
What's going on here? Ah! Get off my wife!
Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane has the deepest respect for The Simpsons and Matt Groening. After all, the Griffins probably wouldn't exist without them. However, MacFarlane expressed frustration when Fox cut a gag in a Season 6 Family Guy episode where Quagmire and Marge Simpson, giggity.
I got a call from the network saying, you can't do this. You cannot do this gag. And with The Simpsons, and I said, why not? They've made fun of Family Guy like 5 times.
Quagmire subsequently shoots Marge and the rest of The Simpsons. The scene eventually surfaced in reruns and DVD. In a commentary, MacFarlane criticized the network for removing the joke when The Simpsons had taken numerous shots at Family Guy. Fox apparently wanted to end the quote-unquote feud between the two cartoons, which MacFarlane says isn't even real. MacFarlane suspects that Fox was afraid of James L. Brooks' reaction, leaving this episode's first act without a joke to conclude on.
The reason I still maintain is that, and I said this to them, you're afraid of James L. Brooks, who runs The Simpsons. You're afraid of James L. Brooks, and you're not afraid of us. And that's why we can't do it.
Number 9, the National Hockey League. Hitting a new low in Season 9, Krusty the Clown finds himself at the bottom of a bottle, a glass slipper, and the Stanley Cup. Krusty seemingly reaches his limit after taking a huge swing, spewing into hockey's most treasured prize. According to Mike Scully, the crew received some, quote, kind of a cease and desist letter from the NHL in response. Taking the advice of a, quote, cool Fox lawyer, Scully and the company decided to ignore the letter. Sort of. The Stanley Cup would resurface in the background the following season after Homer and Ned go on a crazy bender in Vegas.
Oh my goodness, Homer. Wake up.
Whether or not this is an intentional callback to Krusty's bender, the Stanley Cup has seen its fair share of vomit.
Here comes that vomit again.
Number 8, Hari Kondabolu. For decades, Apu Nahasa P. Mapetalan was among Springfield's most popular residents. In recent years, though, the character has divided audience with some believing that he's had a negative impact on Indians and South Asians.
What do I do now? I've been drummed out of my profession. I'm a disgrace. Even this babbling brook sounds almost like mocking laughter.
This debate arguably started to gain traction with comedian Hari Kondabolu and his 2017 documentary, The Problem with Apu. Speaking with people of Indian and South Asian descent, Kondabolu found that he wasn't the only one who views Apu as a problematic stereotype.
I hate Apu. And because of that, I dislike The Simpsons.
The whole series.
Yeah.
I love The Simpsons because...
You hate yourself.
The Simpsons addressed the controversy in season 29, albeit briefly, sparking more heated discussions.
Something that started decades ago and was applauded and inoffensive is now politically incorrect. What can you do?
While the conversation continues, Hank Azaria officially stepped away from voicing Apu in 2020 and made an apology the following year. The future remains unclear for the Quickie Mart proprietor, but Kondabolu's criticisms were definitely heard. Number 7, Frank Severo. Frank Severo isn't a household name, but you might remember this Italian-American actor from such films as The Godfather Part 2, New York, New York, and The Wedding Singer. You might even notice a certain resemblance between Severo's Goodfellas character, Frank Carbone, and Springfield mob enforcer, Louie.
6 queens. Read 'em and weep.
At least Severo did, leading to a $250 million lawsuit. In 2014, Severo accused The Simpsons of copying his character, as some of the writers apparently lived next door to him while Goodfellas was being developed. The judge threw the case out the following year, finding that Louie satirized mob characters in general. Ironically, Dan Castellaneta claims that he drew inspiration for Louis' voice from Severo's Goodfellas co-star Joe Pesci. Isn't that funny?
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
Number 6, Morrissey. In many cases, celebs take it in stride when they're mocked or parodied on The Simpsons. This wasn't at all the case with English singer Morrissey. In a season 32 episode, Benedict Cumberbatch voiced Willoughby, who's modeled after Morrissey.
Keep in mind I'm merely a product of your fractured psyche.
Oh, shut up. Don't ruin it.
Lisa builds up a version of Willoughby in her mind, but she finds that the actual singer is nothing like she imagined. Willoughby turns out to be prejudiced, overweight, and strapped for cash because he sued so many people for criticizing him.
I'm only here because I lost my fortune suing people for saying things about me that were completely true.
Things kind of came full circle as Morrissey responded, quote, "The hatred shown towards me from the creators of The Simpsons is obviously a taunting lawsuit, but one that requires more funding than I could possibly muster in order to make a challenge."
Is this what I turned into? I'm greedy, I'm hateful, and my face looks like a syphilitic moon.
Number 5, Brazil. From New Orleans to Australia, The Simpsons has ignited controversy around the world.
I'm gonna report this to me member of Parliament. Hey, Gus! I got something to report to you.
That's a bloody outrage, it is. I want to take this all the way to the Prime Minister.
In one of the most infamous cases, Fox nearly faced legal action for the show's send-up of Brazil. In a season 13 episode, the South American country is portrayed to be overrun with crime, stereotypes, and colorful rats.
Mom, these are slums. The government just painted them bright colors so the tourists wouldn't be offended.
Works for me.
Yeah, check out the rats.
Ooh, they look like Skittles.
The Rio de Janeiro Tourist Board wasn't at all pleased, although their supposed plans to sue Fox likely would have held up in court. Nevertheless, James L. Brooks issued an apology to Rio and its people, calling them, quote, lovely.
Well, I'd like to return to Brazil, but I hear the monkey problem is even worse now.
Being part of the Simpsons crew, though, Brooks jokingly added, quote, if that doesn't settle the issue, Homer Simpson offers to take on the president of Brazil on Fox's Celebrity Boxing. Number 4, Tracy Ullman. Before they were the biggest names in primetime animation, The Simpsons got their start in short form on The Tracy Ullman Show. In Season 2, Ullman lent her voice to dog trainer Emily Winthrop and the family's neighbor, Sylvia Winfield.
There's only one family on this block, no, on Earth, inconsiderate enough to let a monster like that roam free.
The following year, however, Ullman took out a lawsuit against Fox. While Ullman did receive $58,000 in royalties for the cartoon, the comedian believed that she deserved a bigger cut of the revenue, $2.5 million to be precise. As Ullman put it,
I breastfed the yellow people.
Ullman might have given The Simpsons their start, but the court ultimately sided with the network. Nevertheless, Ullman has spoken fondly of The Simpsons since then, even appearing on the 20th anniversary special.
But I think it's been the most successful spin-off ever.
Number 3, Fox News. The Simpsons has never shied away from making fun of the Fox network, but that's nothing compared to the times they've thrown shade at Fox News. A season 14 episode took several shots at the right-leaning network through a news crawl.
Tonight, we'll be interviewing the top 2 candidates for Springfield's 24th Congressional District. For the Republicans, beloved children's entertainer, Krusty the Clown. And for the Democrats, this guy.
I have a name.
Among the headlines are pointless news crawls up 37%, and JFK posthumously joins Republican Party. Although Fox claims otherwise, Groening says that the network threatened legal action. Figuring that Fox wouldn't sue itself, The Simpsons got away with a joke.
This is Fox News with the latest liberal outrage. It seems liberals want to give NASA the right to abort space missions whenever they feel like it.
However, Fox told the show not to use any more fake news tickers, fearing that they may be confused for real ones. That didn't stop The Simpsons from cracking more Fox News jokes, attracting outrage from Bill O'Reilly in 2010.
We're unbalanced! It's not fair!
Number 2, George H.W. Bush. The Simpsons got off to a rocky start with the First Lady, Barbara Bush, who called the show,
"It was the dumbest thing I had ever seen."
Mrs. Bush had a change of tune after receiving a thoughtful letter from Marge Simpson's, well, technically, the Simpsons writers.
I thought perhaps it would be a good start to just speak my mind. With great respect, Marge Simpson.
President Bush apparently wasn't so easily won over, vowing to
make American families a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like the Simpsons.
The show promptly responded with a jab at Bush's role in the early 1990s recession. But it didn't end there. When the Bushes moved across the street from The Simpsons, a brawl between George and Homer was inevitable.
I'll take your head and... Gorbachev. What are you doing here?
It also paved the way for multiple jokes about his one-term presidency.
Since I'd achieved all my goals as president in one term, there was no need for a second.
Number 1, Matt Groening.
Quite a twist, huh? Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Despite being the show's creator, Groening hasn't been satisfied with every creative decision. Along with Harry Shearer, Groening criticized the Notorious Principal and the Pauper episode.
That man is the real Seymour Skinner.
Groening was especially critical about a crossover with another James L. Brooks produced animated series. Created by Simpsons writers Al Jean and Mike Reiss, The Critic had a short run. It's perhaps best remembered for a Simpsons episode where Jay Sherman came to Springfield.
Hey man, I really love your show. I think all kids should watch it. I suddenly feel so dirty.
Groening thought the episode was a blatant advertisement for The Critic. When he failed to get the crossover pulled, Groening had his name removed from the credits. Groening has seemingly mellowed out about crossovers since then, as The Simpsons have now clashed with Family Guy, Futurama, The X-Files, 24, Lego, Star Wars, and the Marvel Universe.
Oh, the boy says you're magic. Can you turn one pork chop into two? I worship you, great Loki.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.